agreeing to show this wine that nobody else has tasted outside of Antinori, basically, which is, I think, an unbelievable opportunity for everybody here. I love this wine the minute I tasted it from the barrel, and I'm so glad to see that the bottle is like this, exactly the same. So thank you, Glenn.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Antonio. And good evening to everybody. First of all, I just want to excuse myself because my English is not so good compared to my fellow panelists here. But I have the great pleasure of representing the Antinori family with this wine. The Antinori family, as you well know, is a family that is based out of Florence. Our history actually is more based with vineyards that I say are from the province of Florence. But in the more recent years, we've also made some investments in the province of Siena, and that's the wine we're going to be talking about today. So many of you know Antinori for sure because of our super Tuscan wines. But I think for Piero Antinori today, he really thinks of the future of Antinori is amongst these gentlemen here and women down at the end with the great wines of the Chianti Classico. More than ever before, we really think we are linked to the Chianti Classico. So today, for the Antinori group, we actually have 4 Gran Seleziones that we produce. The first one that we did many, many years ago was from Badia Passiano, which is right around the corner from the Tianello estate. And then we have the estate today that we're talking about that we call Sano, which is in the Gaioli area. We have Biano, which is in Castellina. And then more recently, a piece of property that was part of the Antinori families in the 1500s, Gigliano, we brought back into the family most recently, and we also do a Gran Selezione from that. So like Antonio mentioned, this is a wine that has not been released yet. It was bottled in 2023, so it's been in the bottle now for a little more than a year. And the intent is to release this wine to the market at the beginning of 2025. So for Sano, it's a piece of property that I've followed from a technical point of view with the Antinori group since our purchase of this land in 2017. It's a vineyard of about 200 acres in size. It's right south of Castello d'Ama, which we're going to hear about in just a few minutes, and just a little bit north of Siena. But the beauty of this property, it sits on a ridgetop. Quite common. What we just heard about is the clay limestone Albarese soil that is very critical. And matter of fact, when we bought this property in 2017, we actually brought in this machine that just went in to sort of crush the rock because there's so much rock on the property that we think is very important to the minerality maybe of this wine. And so for Sano itself, it's a little hamlet, we would call it in English, a little village. And the vineyards that we own surround the village. But the vineyard that is particular to this wine right here is a vineyard that is at the more of the highest elevation, facing more to the northeast. And by high elevation, not quite 600 meters, but we're about 400, 450 meters. So for sure, it's one of the last of the Gran Seleziones that we harvest and make because of coolness. But I think also a very important part of this wine is the rich character that is balanced by the bright acidity that you find in this wine. So also on the estate is a cellar that after we bought this property in 2017, we did a complete remodel. So the fermenters here are 5-ton conical fermenters based on the maceration system, what we call punch down. So a system meant to really be gentle in extracting the tannins in the wine. And then here, because we don't want a big footprint on the amount of oak that goes into this wine, here we're aged in 12 hectoliter casks. So 12 hectoliters would be about 600 gallons for the conversion. So wanting for sure the wine to be aged in wood, but not to have a heavy footprint of wood. So this wine is incredible. It's, like I said, it's a project that I've been following with Renzo Cottarella, the chief enologist of Antinori, and his technical team since we bought this property. And it's just an incredible addition to the Antinori group. So altogether today for Antinori, we have about 400 hectares, so it's about 1,000 acres of vineyard in the Chianti Classico. So for our future, we are firm believers in the wines, and it's so great that Antonio selected the Chianti Classico for one of the master classes today, because I think these are all going to be incredible representations of the future of this beautiful part of the wine world. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn. Giovanni.